Great words there from Lucky Dube and Baban. I hope you enjoyed that number. Different colors just for you. On Gold FM, only the classic hits. Louise with you on the Center Show. Well, thank you so much for the sweet company. This is Alana Miles, one of my favorites, and Black Velvet for you. Hi there. Join me on the Center Show every weekday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the best sounds on Gold FM. Only the classic hits.
In this bulletin, Prasad appointed Public Accounts Committee Chair. Australia High Commission warns about visa scam. And Youth Parliament to convene next month. Good evening, I'm Jacquee Speight and this is FBC News. Opposition member Biman Prasad has today been formally appointed as the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. Government MP Balminder Singh is his deputy. Prasad's chairmanship, however, was marred with controversy when government members nominated Aseri Randrondro instead. Maggie Boyle with the details.
The much-anticipated Public Accounts Committee met today for the first time, and controversy was the first order of the day.
This is the committee. It's 5 of us. We either discuss it and make a decision.
Honourable Member,
I will not continue.
Honourable Member, I respect your view, but...
And with Prasad having to second his own chairman nomination, the government members in the majority then called for a vote. Secretary-General to Parliament Vinyan Namosima Loa having to take the matter under advice.
The members' attention to paragraph 6, which states if only one person is proposed, that person is declared by the Secretary-General to have been elected. The Public Accounts Committee has therefore properly elected Dr. Biman Prasad as chairperson in accordance with the rules of this Parliament.
And with the chairmanship resolved, the deputy chair's appointment was settled with Balminder Singh. On with the PAC agenda, the work plan discussion was next, the government side opposing any suggestions to start with the 2013 reports, instead opting to begin with the 2010 Auditor General reports first. Suggestions to the contrary by the Auditor General Tavita Bolenivanua were shot down by PAC member and government whip Semi Korlavasau. The meeting concluded, Chairman Prasad welcoming the first PAC sitting.
I think it's good for the people of this country. It's good for parliamentary democracy. And I'm very pleased that we've had the first meeting. I'm also very pleased with the assurance and the support that has come from government members. I see this committee as a bipartisan committee. We intend to work together. We intend to build consensus at all times.
In response to the challenge to his chairing of PAC, Prasad says that's in the past.
I think that is behind us now, and I want to look forward, look ahead, and that's where I want to leave it.
The PAC meeting is scheduled to meet next on the 15th of December, where members will begin scrutinising the 2010 Auditor General's reports first. And if this first meeting was anything to go by, the next will certainly be something to watch out for. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Government members of Parliament have held their first full caucus over the last 2 days to discuss party and pending Parliament issues. Government Whip Semi Korlavasau says all government MPs are in attendance with the exception of the Prime Minister and the Trade Minister, who are overseas on official duties.
The caucus basically is for our caucus to discuss the budget, preparing and going into the budget debate next week.
The caucus concluded today. The 2015 budget debate in Parliament is scheduled to begin on Monday and will be held for 2 weeks. There have been some visa scams recently, including visas and work permits for the Seasonal Worker Program and the Worker and Holiday Visa Program between Australia and Fiji, despite the fact these programs do not yet exist. The Australian High Commission says some migration, recruitment and travel agents are producing fraudulent letters or permits intended to look like they have been produced by the Australian High Commission. While Australia has invited Fiji to join both the Seasonal Worker Program and the Work and Holiday Visa Program, neither of these arrangements has yet been implemented. This means no such visas are yet in place for Fijian citizens for these programs. The High Commission is strongly recommending that applicants for visas obtain information and assistance directly from the Australian Visa Application Centre. An announcement will be made as soon as the programs are finalised. Meanwhile, the police has confirmed to FBC News that to date there has been no reported cases of visa scam. 50 young people will soon have a chance to be part of the new Fiji Youth Parliament. The Fijian Parliament and Aspire Network will be hosting the Young Fijian Leaders Parliament Forum next month. Chanel Sivan reports.
These young men and women from the Aspire Network are on a journey to make Fiji even better. They're working with the Fiji Parliament so that the youth can be heard at a government level.
15th, 16th, 17th and 18th of December. The 15th of December it will be a launch where all the participants will come in, and the launch will take place in the afternoon at Vineyard. And the second day is on 16th December, 17th December. We will have the thematic session to prepare the youths into the Parliament sitting, which is the actual Parliament sitting on 18th of December.
Secretary General to Parliament Vinyana Namusi Malua says this is a great opportunity for young minds so that they begin to respect the Parliament and to understand what it is like to make decisions at the government level.
It will be in a setup where they will have speeches, like where parliamentarians give their maiden speeches and they're given a few minutes to talk on those issues. And of course we will have the Madam Speaker presiding, and I will also be there as a Secretary General, and it'll be a formal Parliament setup too, so that they get a feel of what it is to be sitting in a place like that.
The forum also gives a chance to young people from the maritime areas to learn how the parliamentary system works.
This project we are in partnership with the Fiji Police Force, and the Fiji Police Force, they have the youth group, the Blue Light Youth Group. This is the Blue Light Youth Group. They have all the networks around Fiji, even in the Lao, because they come under the community post. So we just contacted the community post, and the community post in various organizations like in Lao, in the Lamaiviti group, they're going to go to the remote areas and they will spread the network of this project.
This afternoon, the network received 70 applications. Applicants should have some community work experience and be part of a youth group in order to qualify. The Youth Parliament will be held next month. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
Company develops online booking system for Chinese tourists. That's coming up.
Bula FM namban dua na serene wasining ona ni batara ni sibiti ko bekianda na diwa na tini na miniti na may pakuriti ole bengrabe na nontan nonongo kanda na dabati ko ani na rona kaloko ene kamende ndebo bili na tengwa limu ni may dabati ko na wani matakabo dan lib sarti ko na bisere tali oni na namaka ndo batati ko may kine na kenan daw rongo di kanamaki Bula binaka ayo salamilawa do bataki ya wana batara na wani dio na kaloko moni tiki na barumbuka ena Bula FM namban dua ena sere
Ni sambulo bina kana turna kini marama ni bulu bina kana doro bau kini mone lewa ni so bulu bina kana mone en do talem no no ni wawe katalau en mataka en dai
en vindelana mai nei tasiri
no bulu maleka go ni milote nai sorta boa
en lomo ni bonua mai sanganga
ni bulu go Samuel na no tanga ni wawe katalau en radio Fijuan nandomo vitina vo gani venu mai no kini diwa en bi mataka moni tiki na paruka ni kai namaka
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Police have taken a taxi driver in for questioning about a road accident near government buildings in Suva this morning. A taxi hit a man as he was crossing Gladstone Road this morning. An ambulance team, along with the Fiji volunteer first responders, arrived on the scene a few minutes later and rushed the victim to the Colonial War Memorial Hospital. Police say the pedestrian suffered some injuries and is being kept at the hospital overnight for observation. An investigation is underway into the circumstances surrounding the accident. Fiji's relationship with the United States is slowly improving following the return to democracy. Fiji's ambassador to the US, Winston Thompson, now hopes there will be considerable increase in interest and more real investment. Akusita Tale has more.
The September general elections opened many opportunities for Fiji in trade, bilateral and multilateral relations with many countries. However, one that's still affecting Fiji, along with other 122 developing countries, is the Generalized System of Preference Program, or GSP, which enables export into the US market duty-free.
For us, it is quite significant in that over $100 million of our exports into the United States are affected. And this not having that legislation effective means that the importers in the United States, for the products that we've been exporting, they're looking elsewhere because they can get probably more competitively priced products.
However, with the support of the remaining countries, Fiji is adamant about regaining their exports into the US market that includes bottled water, tuna and sugar.
It is difficult, as you know, to regain a market if you lose it. So we're hopeful that in the not-too-distant future, we'll be able to convince the Congress to reinstate this legislation.
Winston says Fiji is also looking forward to a much more progressive and fruitful relationship with USA. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
The French ambassador and the High Commissioners of New Zealand and Australia have presented their credentials to the President Ratuepeli Nailatikau. The Australian High Commissioner, Margaret Eileen Toomey's appointment is the first official one to Fiji since 2006. Mark Ramsden is the new New Zealand High Commissioner to Fiji. He was previously acting head of mission at the New Zealand High Commission in Suva. Ratuepeli hopes the existing relations between Fiji and New Zealand will continue to grow from strength to strength. The new French ambassador, Michel Djokovic, also met with the president yesterday. The French government is looking forward to working with Fiji in areas of climate change, trade and education. Major reforms are expected next year in the education sector, which could bring all the schools in the urban, rural and maritime zones to the same level. Standardizing the education system will discourage parents from choosing a particular school for their children. Kalpana Kajal reports.
The Education Ministry, which had one of the highest allocation in the national budget, is working towards changing the woke culture of the whole education system in 2015. Minister for Education, Dr. Mahendra Reddy says they hope parents will not end up choosing to send their children to particular schools.
Once we have the same infrastructure, the same exam paper, same teachers with same qualification, then all schools would be at the same level. There should not be any reason why students or parents will choose to send their child to another school.
There are plans to increase resources to smaller schools in the rural areas and maritime zones so that they are all of the same standard as schools in urban areas. One of the major changes expected next year is revaluation of school teachers' work.
We are looking at redefining and reclaiming our teachers into teaching and learning and assessment. All the admin work will be transferred away from them to admin officers and the head teachers and principals. We will get all our head teachers and principals away from teaching responsibilities, so they're full-time on school admin work, which is being taken away from these teachers.
The Education Ministry is planning to standardize the curriculum, teachers and infrastructure by the end of next year. Kalpana Kajal, FBC News.
A local tourism technology company has created an online travel system for Rosy Holidays that will help attract more Chinese tourists to Fiji. The online booking system is the first of its kind to be developed in Chinese for our tourism industry. Christopher Chand reports.
It's taken more than 6 months to create this travel website. The most significant feature is the ability for Chinese travelers to now log in and book hotels with ease.
It is entirely in the Chinese language with rates that are in their currency, in the Chinese yuan. So it is tailored 100% for the market.
Rosie Holidays has been significantly investing in China, a developing tourism market with huge potential.
China for us, and for Fiji for that matter, is the fastest growing market in terms of our tourism industry. We've seen the potential for China over a decade ago when we first started this journey to China, and we've seen an amazing growth in the business from China.
The company behind the website is Global Bed Bank, based in Nandi.
Obviously, there's a high level of expertise involved from our team, and I'm very proud of our young team who have actually done the system completely from scratch. And as you are aware, it's in both English and Mandarin. Rosie's did all the translations for us in Mandarin.
Chinese travelers represent a market of 1.4 billion, with over 500 million travelers last year. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
Sports is up next. Jamie's not with us tonight, but we have the lovely Akosita with us. What's the latest?
Good evening. In sports tonight, USB has signed up to be the Games Village for the FIBA Oceania Under-19 Championships, and the bar football side has bounced back from its opening loss in the Pacific Cup in Australia. Find out after the break.
Bula FM nambandua na serena iwan siningona di bawah ni sibiti ko bekian dana diwa na tini na miniti na may pakuriti ora bengrabe na nonton nonongo kanda na dapat ko ani na kaloko ena kaben den deba bili na tengwali ni may dapat ko na wani matakabo kan le besar ko na bisere tali oni na maka do batet ko may kina na kenan daw ro di kanamaki Bula binaka ayo salamilawa do batet kia wana bawah na wani vio na kaloko moni fiki na barumbuka ena Bula FM nambandua na serena
Ni sa bula binaga na turang na kayo marama ni bula binaga na dauro bau kayo mo nilewa. Ni sa bula binaga ngone en do talem no ngone ni wawai katalau en mataka en nai.
En vendelana mai nei tasiri.
No bula maleka go ni milote nai sorta boa.
En lomo ni bonua mai sanganga.
Eu bula ni go Samuel Samuli. Na nota ngone ni wawai katalau en radio Fijuan nandomo vitina vo gani venu. Mai no kini diwa en bi mataka moni tiki na pagruka. Ni kai namaka.
Welcome back. You're watching FBC Sports. The University of the South Pacific will be the Games Village for next week's FIBA USB Under-19 Oceania Basketball Championship. USB will host all teams from 9 countries participating in the week-long tournament. Rohit Deo with the details.
Another helping hand as we draw nearer to hosting the regional event for the first time. Basketball Fiji was all smiles today as the University of the South Pacific stepped up to help the biggest basketball tournament that Fiji has ever hosted.
In 2 days' time, as you are aware, that we will have a few hundred young men and women from our region here at home in Fiji. All this would not have been possible without the support and understanding of government and other sponsors that have stepped forward and gave a lending hand to make sure that this is successful. But in particular, you yourself, sir, and university. I would say that university is, I call, our strategic partner.
The university will also provide free Wi-Fi internet access to over 350 athletes. The university wants to support the growth of sports in the country in any way possible.
We are delighted to be invited to be a partner, and we see this as a long-term partnership. If Basketball Fiji is interested, I think this can work very well as a long-term partnership. Being involved in anything regional is very important to the university, and sports is very important.
Meanwhile, overseas teams started arriving from today. Guam was the first to reach the campus. Australia joins in later today, and another 6 more will be arriving over the weekend. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, Design Graphics Fiji Limited also signed a memorandum of understanding with Basketball Fiji to provide banners and signage for the tournament. The company believes this is a very big tournament and their support is to ease the burden on the organizers. The tournament starts next Monday at the Vodafone Arena in Suva. You can watch the delayed coverage of Fiji's matches on FBC TV. Defending champions of the Fiji FA Women's Inter-District Championship, Lambasa thrashed Tavua 40-0 in their first match today. The Northerners led 10-0 at half-time. In another match today, Lautoka beat Navua 2-0. Games continue at Bas Govin Park. She is often dubbed Supermom for defying her age in the athletics arena. Former middle distance champion Salome Tambotale is now making ripples in her adopted sport of paddling. The 54-year-old recently returned from the VAA World Championship in Brazil and is hoping to use the experience to push for selection to the Pacific Games next year. Chalento Takataka has more.
Salome Tambotale overcame a major hurdle prior to leaving for Brazil for the VAA World Championship. A week out from departure, her husband passed away, putting a huge dent on her preparation. As her sponsors, Pacific agencies, had already paid for the trip, Tambotale left the following week after a short period of mourning.
I lost my husband, and just because I had a support from them, I had to show them that I had the guts, I had to take out my head for them because they already paid for my airfare.
Tambotale competed against the best paddlers, finishing second in the heats and bombed out in the semi-finals, coming in an impressive third. Now she has set her sights on a 6th and final Pacific Games next year in Papua New Guinea.
At the moment I'm training with the young ones, and I'm learning a lot from them too.
The two-time Fiji Sportswoman of the Year is still defying the odds when it comes to sports. Having made a name for herself in athletics, Tambotale will want to finish her sporting career on a high note with a medal in paddling in PNG. Chalento Takatak, FBC Sports.
The Bar football side has bounced back from its opening loss to record a comfortable 5-0 win over New Zealand and Ronga in the Pacific Cup in Australia. The men in black looked more focused in day 2 and got their campaign back on track. And in other matches, New Zealand All-Stars featuring Valerio Nawatu, Abu Zaid and Apisai Smith upset defending champions Nandi, and AFFA Sydney edged Queensland. Suva and Rewa played to a 0-0 draw. The best players in the Southern Billiard and Snooker Association will tour the Northern Division this weekend. It's a development strategy aimed at assisting players in Vanua Levu. The 2-day Northern Open competition begins tomorrow at the Lambasa Club. The Southern Billiard and Snooker Association received a $2,000 boost from Cars and Cars Fiji Limited to fund the competition.
This is for Lambasa players, the players who don't get the chance to come to Southern and play over here or in the Western. We want to improve snooker, so while the snooker is coming up and the players will go up at the same time. For development in snooker, we are going the first time to Lambasa. We are taking the 2 sets of balls over here, and the prize is over here, which we're taking to Lambasa for Lambasa people.
In the Europa League, Celtic has qualified for the knockout stage despite its 3-1 defeat to Salzburg this morning. Fellow pool opponents Astra defeated Dynamo Zagreb 1-0 in Romania to ensure Celtic finished second. Meanwhile, Everton is looking to secure its first European trophy since 1985. The Toffees defeated Wolfsburg 2-0 to top Group H. And that was your sports for tonight. Back to you, Jacquee.
The Reserve Bank of Fiji has agreed to maintain the overnight policy rate at 0.5%. RBF Governor Barry Whiteside says given the buoyant developments to date and the expansionary fiscal stance in the recently announced national budget, the domestic economy is expected to continue its above-trend growth this year and in 2015. Whiteside says this will be underpinned by the sustained robust consumption and investment activity and supported by anticipated solid performances in key sectors such as tourism and sugar. Fine conditions prevailed over the Fiji group today. Nadi Ba and Lambasa recorded the highest temperatures at 32 degrees today. Suva and Lautoka had 31, while Savu was the lowest with 29 degrees. Tomorrow's outlook, mostly fine weather throughout the country except Suva and Savu could experience cloudy weather. Brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands, possible afternoon or evening showers elsewhere. And the main points again. Opposition member Biman Prasad has today been formally appointed as the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. Government members of Parliament have held their first full caucus over the last 2 days to discuss party and pending Parliament issues. And the Australian High Commission has warned the public to be aware of visa scams where some travel agents have produced fraudulent letters about work programs that are yet to be finalised. To our poll question for this week, we're asking, are you satisfied with the 2015 national budget? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's the news for tonight. Join me again tomorrow. Ni Modamanda.